Hello guys, today we're going to talk about writing linear equations given slope and a point. So our essential question, how do I form linear equations when given only a slope and a point? And if you remember, a slope is your rise over run. It tells how the graph is changing y over changing x, and so on. We'll given a slope. It's also your m in y equals mx plus b form. And then you'll also be given a point, just an ordered pair, like say 1, 2, or 2, 0, whatever it is, a point and a slope. All right. So first off, we're gonna need to know and review the slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form, if you remember, is y equals mx plus b. Okay. Remember, it's slope-intercept, so there's two things to that equation. There's a slope and there's an intercept. M is your slope. B is your y-intercept. Alright, kind of a review. But now what's new is the point-slope formula. Point-slope formula is where you have a y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. Okay, that equation, that form may look a little confusing, but if I give you a slope of say m of 2, and I also give you a point of say 0, 1, okay, there's three things that are given: your slope, okay, an x value, and a y value. All that means is your slope, if I look at the equation, it says y minus y1. Y1 stands for the first y of the first point, the y value of that first point. So if I look over at what's given, 1 would go where the y1 is, right? So it's y minus y1 equals m. If you notice, you know what m stands for. M would go where the slope is, and then it says parentheses x minus x1. Then you would take the 0, and that would go where the x1 is. So we're kind of just plugging in. In reality, you're getting three things: a slope, an x, and a y. Okay, and a slope and a point. If you're given a slope and a point, you're actually getting three things: a slope, a y value, and an x value. Alright, so let's just review how to put things in slope-intercept form. So if you're given m, a slope, and you're given a y-intercept of 9, what is your equation? Y equals 1x plus a 9. And if you think about this, a y-intercept of 9 is actually 0, 9. So y-intercepts are a point. So we're kind of doing the same thing here. Alright, well, let's look at the next equation. Write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form when m is negative 3, b is negative 7. So slope-intercept form is your y equals form. It's just going to be y equals negative 3x minus 7. Alright, just plugging it in. Alright, we're going to be doing the same thing when we're given point-slope form. So sometimes you don't have m and b. Alright, you don't always have m and a y-intercept, but you can be given a slope and a point, and using the point-slope-intercept form or point-slope form, you should be able to solve for y, or put it in slope-intercept form. Alright, so let's say if the slope of the line is 2, so right here, 2. So I'm going to say that is m, right? That's your slope. Okay, that's your slope. And it passes through the point 7, 2. So 7 here, let's say that's x1, right? That's the x point value of that point. And then 2, actually I've already used green. 2 is your y1, the y value of that point. Write the equation of the line in point slope form. So here we go, right? Point slope form, if you remember, is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So there are three things you need, right? The slope 2 is going to go where the m is, okay? The x value would just go where the x is. And lastly, the y value would go where the y value is, right? The y1. We're just plugging it in. So if I plug this in, y, and then y1 over here was 2, so I'm going to subtract 2, right, equals m, and we know m is the slope. It's over here. It's 2. It's the green line. Parentheses x, and then minus, well, x is the 7 value, so we're going to minus that value of 7. and this is your point slope form. Y minus 2 equals 2 parentheses x minus 7. Now that form may look a little hard to remember. It's going to be given to you on the star, but if you look at it, it's just y minus y, right? The y values are together. M stands for slope, but you could also think M is the first letter of the word middle, like the slope is in the middle. M stands for slope, M middle. And then of course x is with the x value. So if you're ever confused, right, start with y minus, which is the y value of the point. Then M is in the middle, x and the x value. Alright, but let's change that to slope-intercept form. The special thing about slope-intercept form, if you remember, is y equals mx plus b. But the thing is, it is always y equals. Y is always by itself. So usually if you see y equals, there's a high chance it's in slope-intercept form. So if I put my point slope form that I just plugged in, alright, the 2x minus 7 from above, and then if you solve for y, you should have it in slope-intercept form. So to solve, we're just solving again. We're going to solve, but we're solving for y. So the first step of solving is to distribute 2 times x, 2x, 2 times negative 7, negative 14. Alright, let's bring down the left side, the y minus 2. From here, I got to solve for y, right? Because y equals, that means I got to get y by itself. So I got to cancel this 2, alright, that negative 2. I'm going to add 2. Add 2 to both sides. Y equals 2x minus negative 14 plus 2, 12. And that's your y-intercept form, or y equals slope-intercept form. Alright, let's do another example. The slope of the line is negative 1/3, and I just want to correct this, and passes through the point negative 7 and negative 2. So again, if you want to label it, the slope, that's your m, negative 1/3. Fraction slopes are okay. It tells us a rise over run, rising negative 1, running 3. And then you have your x value, and you have your y value. Alright, so I'm just labeling it all. M, x1 is negative 7, y1 is negative 2. Write the equation in point slope form. So again, if you want to remember the form, y, it's always minus the y value. Well, the y value is over here, right? Negative 2. The thing is, I'm subtracting a negative 2. So when you subtract a negative, you can write minus negative 2, but when you're subtracting a negative, it's the same as just saying plus 2. So kind of think of it like as the opposite. If it's a negative 2, you put plus 2. If it was just a positive 2, you're subtracting it minus 2, because that's how the formula was written. Alright, equals, and then remember m stands for middle, slope, so we know slope comes next, negative 1/3, parentheses x, and then I have a negative 7 here, so that means it's going to be plus 7. That's your slope-intercept form. Excuse me, point slope form. Now we want to find the slope-intercept form, so solve for y. Again, that's y equals mx plus b. Anytime you solve for y, it should be in slope-intercept form. So let's see, y plus 2 equals negative 1/3 x plus 7. Alright, so let's go ahead and solve for y. Negative 1/3 times x is just going to give me negative 1/3 x. Okay. Negative 1/3 times 7 is just going to be negative, or I'm going to put minus 7/3. Okay. And then, of course, bring down the y plus 2. From here, I got to cancel the 2. So subtract 2, do the opposite. It's a plus 2, subtract 2. Subtract 2 with the number. Y equals negative 1/3 x, and negative 7/3 minus 2. If you switch that over, it's 6/3. It'd be negative 1/3. So you're really subtracting negative 7/3. And they have to have the same denominator when subtracting. So 2, changing it to a 6/3. Yeah, you would have gotten negative 1/3. So that's how you got the y minus 1/3 at the end. That's your slope-intercept form. Alright. Let's do another one. Slope of your line is negative 4. Negative 1 is your x1. Negative 4 is your y1. Let's plug it in. Y The y1 value comes first. It's a negative 4, so it will be plus 4 equals, m is your slope, which up top is negative 4, x, and then negative 1 is your x value, so we're going to put plus 1. Alright, from there, solve for y for slope-intercept form. Y plus 4 equals negative 4x plus 1. I've got to distribute first. Alright, distribute negative 4 to x. Negative 4x. Negative 4 times 1, minus 4. Y plus 4, bringing it down. Alright, and then cancel, because you got to solve for y, so y has to be by itself. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. That cancels. Y equals negative 4x. Negative 4 minus 4 would be negative 8. Okay? Alright. Looking at another example, the slope of the line is negative 1/4. That's your m. And passes through the point negative 1, your x1, and negative 4, your y1. Plugging it in, y values goes first, so it's going to be plus 4 equals m is your slope, negative 1/4, parentheses x, and then your x value is negative 1, so you're going to write plus 1. Alright, slope-intercept form, the whole y equals, got to solve for y, so y plus 4 equals negative 1/4, x plus 1. Okay, distribute first. Negative 1/4 times x is just going to be negative 1/4 x. Negative 1/4 times 1 is just going to be 1/4. And then bring down the y plus 4. Alright, got to solve for y, so I'm subtracting 4. That gives me y equals negative 1/4 x, negative 1/4 minus 4. If you were dealing with fractions, you got to switch that 4 to have the same denominator. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. So then just subtract the cross. Negative 1 minus 16 would be negative 17 over 4. Okay. And looks like that is it for solving or writing linear equations when given a slope and a point. All right, thank you.